my family has been a part of the Erath County for probably 100 and some odd years, 130 years maybe, or something like that, and everything. Not as long as Rita's.
I have about 6 generations that have lived here, so
Yeah.
a long time. The Berry Cottage that you see on the Historic Museum, my great-grandfather actually lived there. So I have a lot of history in the area as well.
Yeah.
Did either of y'all move ever out of Erath?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You mean as we were kids or as adults?
As you were kids or as adults?
Well,
I did because my dad moved around. So I lived in Abilene and Beaumont and Houston and Fort Worth. But we always seemed to end up back here anytime there was an issue or a concern, and then in high school. And then, of course, as adults, we moved out.
yeah. My family did not move. I mean, we were here the whole time, and as a matter of fact, and all the way through college. And then Rita and I got married while we were students at Tarleton, and we were here for another 9 years or so after we got out of school and got our degrees, and then we left. And we ended up going to Abilene. The jobs carried us to these places. Abilene, Kansas, Kentucky, so and then back here.
And what were your primary careers?
Okay. Mine was in the economic development business. I started off as the president of the Chamber of Commerce here, fresh out of college. Didn't know a thing about a Chamber of Commerce. Nothing. Thank goodness they were willing to send me to school, and so I learned. And that got me into the economic development business with the Chamber, and then I got hired away to Abilene, recruited to head up their economic development foundation in Abilene. And then from there, after about 4 years, then we had the opportunity to go to Kansas, Salina, Kansas, and I headed up the Chamber and Economic Development program there for 22 years. Retired, got recruited to go to Kentucky and did the same thing in Western Kentucky and everything.
Yeah.
Rita had a different stream of than I.
Yeah, I change jobs all the time. I like doing different things. And so I started out as a resource teacher, actually over in Dublin, and decided I wanted to be a speech pathologist, which I went to school to become a speech pathologist. And I came here to Stephenville and got in the system. It took me like 3 or 4 years, and the year after I got in, Gerald decided he wanted to run off to Abilene. So then I moved to Abilene, and I taught out there for a while, and I was a speech pathologist there for a while, but then I became an early childhood consultant, and so I helped like 3 or 4 districts set up their early childhood programs, and I was doing that when Gerald moved to Kansas. He went up there about, 9 months before me.
About that.
And I went up there and I started back in the classroom, but decided that, it's interesting in Texas, I could change from position to position without having to be certified always. In Kansas, you had to be certified to do those kinds of things. And so while I was I became a teacher, but then I became a speech pathologist again and worked on my doctorate. And when I finished my doctorate at K-State, I headed up a special grant program for at-risk youth. And I did that for a while, for 3 years. And you know how grants are, for 3 years. And then they were starting an education service agency, and I applied for that, and I got that, and we started with about 12 districts, and when I left, we had over 60 school districts that were members. So I did that for 20 years, and we grew. We did all kinds of things. We did volume purchasing, we ran high schools, we had consultants. And so when Gerald retired and then he went to Kentucky, I finally decided I was ready to do something different. And so I retired from there and I moved to Kentucky and took a superintendent's position there. So I did that for 4 years and then retired. And although we said we were never going to come back to Stephenville, this is where we headed.